Hello, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Team Gig Buddy. Kieran, Abdallah, Ola, Claire and myself Alex. Together we've built a cross-platform mobile app called Gig Buddy. As a frequent gig attendee, in the past I've sometimes found myself being let down by friends who've had a last-minute change of plan or just aren't interested in the same artists as me. I know I'm not the only one in this situation, as I'll go to a gig solo and see others standing around on their phones waiting for the performance to begin. This is where the idea for Gig Buddy was born, an app to help people find friends to go to gigs with so these experiences can be shared. Users can browse thousands of upcoming concerts, connect with others who are interested in the same events, send and receive messages through the in-app chat, all while keeping safe by not giving out personal information. So, this is what a user sees when loading up Gig Buddy. Creating a new account is as simple as filling in a few details. And thanks to Firebase authentication, this data is validated and stored securely. Any errors along the way result in an alert, which will let the user know they've made a mistake. Now that we're logged in, the fun can really begin. Kieran's going to talk you through some more.
Now we have a user, let's explore the app. The first page we come to is the event list page. Here we can browse gigs from around the world. You can do this in two different ways. You can search for a city, or you can use your current location and set a radius to show you your most local gigs. Below your search, you can see the resulting gigs are displayed on a map as a guitar, with each icon located at the gig's venue. This was done using React Native maps, custom markers, and the event location data coming from the Ticketmaster API, rendering as Google Maps on Android and Apple Maps on iOS. As one venue can be the host to many gigs, there is a list below with the same gigs and their relevant information, so this is easier to visualize. Next, we can talk about the navbar. It appears on every page of the app, giving the users the ability to easily navigate around. Gives you the options to go to your messages, profile page, or log out. So let's give our profile some personality. Here we can set an avatar which other users will use to easily identify us in the chat. We need to set a bio so other users can gauge what kind of gig buddy we would be, and below your bio you can see all of your previous gigs you have been to. Now let's find a gig. Clicking on a guitar or one of the list buttons will take you directly to that gig page, which gives you more information about it. You can toggle the map on and off if you need more location information. At the top of the page, you are given the opportunity to add yourself to the Looking for a Buddy or I'm Attending lists. Clicking on a user's name from the list will take you to their profile page where, as mentioned before, you can decide if the user sounds like someone you would like to go to a gig with. And if that's the case, I'll let Abdallah show you how.
Let's say you wanted to start a conversation with Kieran. You would need to click on the chat button beside his name, which would then direct you to a private chat room between you and Kieran. To send a message, you would need to type into the input box and then click the send button. Kieran would now receive the message and would then be able to send a message back, as you can see. Now let's say you wanted to see your previous chats. You would simply click on the message button on the top of your screen. To know a little more about Kieran, you can click on his name, which would direct you to his profile page where you can see his bio and some of the past gigs he attended. Now, if you received a message from a new user, you would be able to access that in the messages list. You would click the chat button to view the message and click on the name to view the profile. Now you can respond to the user in the way that you want. We used Firestore when making the chat rooms. Firestore is a real-time database. Our code can listen to changes in the database and receive those updates on the device with almost no latency at all, provided you have an adequate internet connection. Now moving on to our tech choices. Through spiking at the start of our project, we managed to gain a strong foundation of what would work well. We decided on the following. For the front end, React Native and Expo. We decided to use React Native as it made sense for this to be a mobile application so our users could message each other on the go, at a gig or on the way. Expo's managed workflow allowed us to see the changes we made in real time on both iOS and Android, while only writing one code base. React Native and Expo were both new to all 5 of us, we learned to use hooks as opposed to class components, resulting in much cleaner code. Now I will let Ola finish off talking about the Backend Technologies.
As for our backend, we had several requirements to consider. We needed a database to store our users' information securely. We needed authorization for the login process that allows individual users to be identified. Besides, for our messaging functionality to work, it was critical to have backend storage which could be updated and read in real time. We considered at first using Postgres and WebSocket, but during our spiking phase, we discovered Google Cloud Firestore that features met all our backend demands. By using Firebase authentication, we could create a secure user account with a unique ID. Firebase Firestore enables our smooth chat functionality, and since we were keen to challenge ourselves and engage with the new technologies throughout this project, it was the perfect choice for us. We've also used Axios to fetch the events data from the external API Ticketmaster. Relying on a third-party API was initially a bit of a worry, but overall, the Ticketmaster API has been excellent once we get past the deeply nested structures of its data. It allows our app to stay up to date with the latest events happening around the world. Working in a group of 5 was new to us, as we had previously gotten used to working in pairs. However, our pair programming skills were still very useful, along with GitHub and version control, which allows us to work on various features in different branches. Agile practices and clear communication were crucial, as we had daily stand-ups to keep everyone on track and up to date. We were able to share knowledge discovered effectively through notes, Slack, video calls. A Trello board with each task represented as a ticket helped us to keep track and see who was working on what at any given time. Now I will hand over to Claire to talk about the challenges we faced in this project.
Thank you very much, Ola. So in terms of challenges, we decided to take on quite a few when it came to learning, as we used mostly new tools technologies both in the front and back end of our application. So we had to wrap our heads around new syntax and structures quite fast, which we did by spiking throughout the first week in order to make sure that we could implement them efficiently. On the front end, we decided to learn React Native in order to create a mobile app, since it made sense for our purpose. As we were familiar with React from previous web app projects, we were sure that React Native would be mostly the same. However, the difference was bigger than expected, particularly in terms of managing navigation and how data was passed around the app. Naming conventions of important information passed down as props also proved a challenge, as we had to make sure to all use the same variable names across the teams and know what information was available on every component and in what format. We overcame this challenge by moving together regularly to smooth out the merging of different functionalities of the app into the main branch. We also had to coordinate properly so that our app would look good on both Android and iOS, and this proved to be another challenge when it came to front-end and styling. We learned to use Flexbox effectively with React Native, as it differs a lot from CSS, and we chose to apply a simple and streamlined design to the app. On the back end, the main challenge was dealing with a non-relational style of database. We had until now used mostly SQL, PSQL types of databases, structured in tables, so there was quite a learning curve when it came to dealing with Firestore and its collection and documents structure. This was especially important when storing user data and creating an individual chat functionality. We decided to add chat rooms and contact details to the individual user's objects and to write a comparison algorithm with 2 possible outcomes. Either the 2 users had never spoken, and we'd add them to each other's contact lists and chat rooms before navigating to the right room, or they had matching chat rooms in the chat room array, and we would then navigate to this room. So these were the main challenges that we encountered. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we hope you enjoyed discovering GitBuddy as much as we enjoyed putting it together. Bye!